But listen, if Jax needs like a little crew and a rider buddy, I just got my motorcycle license.
Did you really?
So I can totally bring my Cafe Racer GT Continental Royal and just
right,
putting it
come
out
on.
there. Yes.
You're in.
So, welcome to Etalk. So good to have the both of you. Congratulations on this beautiful show. Maybe I'm a little biased, being from India. You know, anytime my homeland is featured in anything, like you've got a fan right away. However, this is based on a novel, Shantaram, 20 years ago this novel came out. So I'm curious to know if you've actually had a chance, first of all, to chat with the author to sort of get the premises and just really learn about the story.
Yeah, I had a chance to go and meet Greg in Jamaica. He
Nice.
lives in Jamaica most
How
of the time.
convenient.
Right? So I went and spent 4 days with him and just talked and listened to him. I mean, if you read the book, you see he's an extraordinary thinker, an extraordinary intellect. And so I just really, it was like going to university for 4 days. I just sat and listened as he sort of broke down his theories on God, philosophy, psychology, and everything in between. So pretty radical dude.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're going into a show named Shantaram, which means a man of God's peace, you know what I mean? Like just in itself, knowing that this is, and the setting of it all as well. But this actually took a really long time to bring to the people. Like you guys were cast in this thing 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So what has
4 for him.
4?
7 years ago when I
7.
7 years ago when I read the novel the first time and started pursuing this to try to get the rights.
Yeah.
So it was owned for a long time by Warner Brothers, and Johnny Depp was going to play Lynn, but they were fixated on doing an adaptation for a feature film, and it's 980 pages. It's a true odyssey, the journey, and so I, you know, coming from television, I read that and said, you got to tell us over 30, 40 hours to do it justice. So that's what we set out to do. And so now it's up to everyone to decide if you know they enjoy the show enough. We'll
Do you
get
guys
to
feel
go back and
nervous?
do another. Yeah, really, because we've, you know, like I say, we put 7 years into this. You know, 4
And
for
we
Tony.
put our heart and soul in this, and I just, you know, it's a beautiful team and it's a beautiful story, and I don't think we're finished telling the story. So.
I have to ask you then, Antonia, like as a French actress, right, coming on board with this huge production, and then out of all places in India, in the middle of like the busiest part of Bombay, like what was that experience like for you?
It was incredible.
Really?
I've always, since I'm literally 6 years old, I've been wanting to go to India. And when I auditioned for the show and got flown to Mumbai 3 days after my audition to chemistry read with Charlie, I was in Mumbai for 2 days and I was like, this is not the end of it. I have to get this job and I have to come back to India. And honestly, I had the most incredible time.
What was you guys' like maybe perhaps favorite memory? Because it can be very overwhelming. It's like a cultural shock. Even for me, I was in New Delhi, but going to Bombay, it's shocking. So what was like the most shocking part for you guys?
Just the crowd and the fact that everybody's just on top of each other. But it's also exhilarating. It's really fun. And walking around Colaba, seeing the gate of India, the sunsets. The sunset and the sunrise for me in India are just incredible.
Yeah, what about you, Charlie?
I mean, like Tony said, it's a real challenge to shoot in Mumbai right now. It's like you can't close. It's not the type of city you can close down a street the way you would traditionally go about shooting a scene. So we would be shooting in the midst of thousands and thousands of people, which creates some real challenges. But it's also, like Tony says, super exciting.
Yeah,
and it's spontaneous. Like Charlie just jumps on a bike that just drives past, and then I turn around and he's gone.
I mean, we were literally doing stuff like that. We'd be doing a scene, and I always try to make every take different and try to, just keep it fresh and spontaneous and see what can happen. And so we were in the middle of a scene, and a guy drove past on a bike, and I just jumped on the back of his bike and left.
And he's like,
I'm talking.
He's like, let's go.
Where's my partner? I'm very confused right now. But yeah,
I was going to say, or a cow. Usually, that's a situation. You could just be driving.
Were on strike that day because I know that was another day, but yeah.
Yeah, that's like a total common scene in India. Like in the middle of the road, you could be driving major traffic, and all of a sudden, cows just like, yo, I'm just gonna chill here for sure. This show, like I mentioned, it's such a long time coming, and people are finally going to see it. What do you think people will find surprising, though, compared to the novel and perhaps the series?
I mean, I hope that we have done the essence of the show justice. You know, it's not going to deliver on everybody's expectation because it's a very personal thing, reading a novel, particularly reading a novel that's 980 pages. So your version of this book might not be the same as mine, but hopefully we've sort of got the essence of it. And more than anything, I just hope that people enjoy it. It's entertaining, it's exciting, there's a grand romance, there's, you know, some crime and intrigue. And more as I approach this, I just focus, rather than sort of trying to do something really meaningful, important, I'm really focused on making great entertainment. So more than anything, I hope that people just, you know, love the show. And
speaking of great entertainment, you know I can't let you leave without asking you about Jax. You've mentioned that perhaps we could see a little revisit of a story on Jax that we have not seen. Please tell me what that story could look like and what we have not seen of Jax Teller.
Listen, I was doing a panel with a bunch of guys, and I have a sort of a really vague idea that is completely undercooked. Like the ingredients aren't even mixed in the bowl yet, let alone gone in the oven. So I was a little premature sort of teasing this. There's really no substance to it. I have an idea of something that could be sort of a distant cousin that would allow us to explore maybe the time period that has passed between when masculinity was sort of celebrated in the way that we embodied it in the show, and the 10 years later, and the sort of the way culturally the perception of masculinity has changed. And so it's sort of something in that I'm exploring.
I love that you're like,
but it's
I've just explored it a little bit, but so here's the plot, here's the beginning, and this is how it's gonna end.
True enough.
So that's kind of all I have. But listen, if Jax needs like a little crew and a rider buddy, I just got my motorcycle license.
Did you really?
So I can totally bring my Cafe Racer GT Continental Royal and just putting it out there. Yes.
You're in.
So okay.
You're the newest prospect.
So now we have a plot, and we've already casted the first person for the show. I love it.
We're halfway there.
Congratulations.
I love it. Listen, congratulations.
Where's my invite?
To the boat. Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
I'll teach you how to ride. I'll teach you how to ride. We can both be in it. Congratulations, you guys, to the both of you as well. And I have to say this on camera. Charlie was my first interview ever when I started at Etalk. So we've done a full circle. So good to have you back.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Like the video? Then hit the button, or better yet, drop us a comment. Then check out our latest videos here. And don't forget to subscribe by hitting the button here for more celebrity interviews and entertainment news.